Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Boulder County Lifestyle. If you're thinking about moving to Boulder County, Colorado, these are 11 factors that you absolutely must consider before making that move. In this video, we're going to rank these 11 factors in descending order, with number 11 being the not so bad, all the way down to number 1, which is the most significant factor to consider when buying a home here in Boulder County. Hi there, my name is Lenny, and I'm a real estate agent right here in Boulder County. I help buyers and sellers navigate one of the most unique, most beautiful, and let's be honest, one of the most challenging real estate markets in the entire country. We are going to cover everything from wildfire risk to weather, from traffic to taxes, so that when you make this move, you are doing it with your eyes wide open. And I want to say something up front. I love it here. Boulder County is an extraordinary place to live, but you deserve the real picture, not just the highlight reel on the tourism website. So let's count it down, starting with factor number 11, weather and altitude. Specifically, the weather and the altitude that comes with living at the base of the Rocky Mountains. Now, if you have never lived at elevation before, this is going to be an eye-opener. Boulder sits at 5,430 feet above sea level. That is more than a mile high. If you're coming from a coastal city, the Gulf Coast, the Midwest and flatlands, or really anywhere near sea level, your body is gonna notice this. The air is thinner, the UV rays are stronger, but the humidity is dramatically lower. And yes, some people do experience mild altitude sickness when they first arrive. Headaches, fatigue, maybe some shortness of breath during physical activity. Most people do adjust within a week or two, but it is something to prepare for. Now, here's the thing about the weather in Boulder County that surprises most newcomers. It is actually far better than you might expect for a place that gets 71 inches of snow per year. You heard me right, 71 inches of snow annually, which is well above the national average of 28 inches. But here's the silver lining. Boulder gets approximately 300 sunny days per year. That's more sunshine than Miami, Florida. So when it comes to snow here, which it often does from October through April, the sun comes out the next day or the day after and melts most of it. Locals, they joke about it. They say that a Boulder blizzard disappears by Thursday. Summers here are spectacular. Warm days in the 80s and lower 90s with very low humidity. July is the hottest month with average highs around 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's what separates Boulder from places like Phoenix or Dallas. Even on a 90-degree day, the nights cool down dramatically. You might even need a jacket after sunset. It is a genuinely pleasant summer climate. Winters do bring cold, however. January lows averaging around 19 degrees Fahrenheit, and that wind coming off the Rockies can absolutely bite. But those famous Chinook winds, warm air flowing down from the mountains, can push temperatures into the 60s even in the dead of winter. Boulder weather is generally unpredictable in the best possible way. Now, 2025 was a record year. BoulderCast data confirmed it was the warmest year on Boulder's modern climate record. And Colorado, as a whole, finished as its 4th warmest year ever. Climate trends are shifting and summers are getting hotter and drier. That's worth noting, and it connects directly to a few other factors we'll get into in a moment. Bottom line on weather, if you love sunshine, all 4 seasons, stunning mountain scenery with every sunrise, and you can handle a bit of altitude adjustment, the weather here is honestly one of Boulder County's greatest assets. So on to factor number 10. Factor number 10 is what I call the high income cost of entry gap. This is Boulder County's version of what other expensive metros call the shrinking middle class. And the data here is striking. The median household income in Boulder County is approximately $102,000. That's about 31% higher than the national median. On paper, that sounds great, but here's the catch. The median home value in the city of Boulder is hovering around $840,000 to $940,000 as of early 2026. And single-family homes in many parts of the county are averaging well over $1 million. That math simply doesn't work for a median household income, even a very healthy one. What's happening in Boulder County is a bifurcation of the economy. On one side, you have high-wage professionals, tech workers, biotech, and aerospace engineers, University of Colorado faculty and staff, remote workers from California and the coast who have relocated here. On the other side, you have service workers, educators, retail and restaurant employees, and essential workers who are increasingly being priced out of the county entirely. Boulder County's economic growth actually slowed significantly in 2024 and into 2025. The Boulder Metropolitan Statistical Area slipped to 128th in GDP growth and a startling 374th in personal income growth out of 400 metros nationally. That's a significant change from what was a decade of Boulder being an economic overachiever. Sales tax revenue, often used as a proxy for retail health, was essentially flat. On the upside, Boulder County remains a genuine hub for high-skill, high-paying employment. The industries driving growth include quantum computing. Colorado has about 3,000 quantum sector jobs today, and state funding may push that to 10,000 within a decade. Aerospace companies like Ball Aerospace and Lockheed Martin have major Boulder County presences. The University of Colorado is one of the largest employers. NCAR, NOAA, and NIST all maintain research campuses right here in Boulder. There is no shortage of six-figure opportunity if your career is aligned with science, technology, research, or high-skilled services. But if you are a median income household, you need to go into this purchase with a realistic budget, and in many cases, be prepared to look at the more affordable corridors of the county, places like Longmont, Erie, Lafayette, and Superior, rather than the city of Boulder itself. That's the honest reality of this market in 2026. Factor number 9 is schools. Now here's the genuinely good news. Boulder County has some outstanding public schools, and the numbers back this up. The Boulder Valley District, which serves most of the city of Boulder and surrounding communities, earned accredited with distinction from the Colorado Department of Education in 2025. That is the highest rating the state awards, and only 9% of Colorado's 183 school districts receive it. BVSD ranks 8th out of 115 Colorado school districts on School Digger. Peak to Peak Charter School in Lafayette and the Boulder Valley School District was named one of the top 15 schools in the entire state of Colorado. The standout schools here are generally excellent. The Fairview High School is ranked 6th out of 328 Colorado high schools. High Peaks Elementary is ranked 2nd out of 950 Colorado elementary schools, and Bear Creek Elementary is ranked 8th. These are not small achievements. Colorado overall ranks 5th in the nation for public school quality, and Boulder County punches above even that high bar. However, here's the nuance. Boulder County has multiple school districts, not just BVSD. You have St. Vrain Valley School District covering all of Longmont, which is excellent in its own right, ranking among Colorado's top 15 districts. But like any county, there is disparity. Test scores and resources are not uniform across every school, and within even the top districts, some individual schools significantly outperform others. BVSD itself acknowledges a persistent achievement gap, particularly for economically disadvantaged students and students of color. The district has been working on this for years, and progress is documented, but it's real and worth understanding if it affects your children. The important takeaway for buyers: where you buy within Boulder County matters for school assignment. A street or two in either direction can put your child in a very different school. Before you fall in love with a house, check the school boundary. Your real estate agent, like me, should be helping you navigate this. Overall, if strong public schools are a priority, Boulder County genuinely delivers. It is one of the strongest reasons families choose to move here over other Colorado metros. All right, factor number 8 is land use and zoning. And in Boulder County, this is a topic that deserves its own documentary. And I'm not exaggerating. Boulder County has some of the most deliberate and detailed land use regulations in the entire United States. And those regulations, they exist for a reason. Boulder County has permanently protected over 100,000 acres of open space. Wow. That means nearly 40% of the county's total land area is off limits to development forever. It is one of the most ambitious open space preservation programs in American history, and it is a huge part of what makes Boulder County so uniquely beautiful. But that conservation philosophy extends deep into how you can use the land you do buy. The Boulder County Land Use Code, which was last updated in May 2025 and amended again in March 2026, places strict limits on what you can build, expand, or modify on your property, especially in unincorporated areas. Floor ratios are regulated. Adding square footage to your home may require special review depending on your parcel size and your neighborhood. Properties encumbered by conservation easements have additional restrictions on what can be built or changed. And then there are HOAs. As of 2023, nearly half of all Colorado residents lived under an HOA, and Boulder County is no exception, particularly in newer developments along the Front Range. Colorado has been actively strengthening homeowner protections. As of 2025 and into 2026, new laws require 30-day cure periods before HOAs can issue fines, cap interest on unpaid assessments at 8%, prohibit foreclosure based solely on fines, and require 65% of all unit owners to vote before an HOA can sue a developer for construction defects. So what does this all mean for you as a buyer? It means read the documents before you make an offer. Know what you can and cannot do with the property. If you're dreaming of adding a large addition, running a short-term rental, building an ADU, or putting up a fence or specific landscaping, you need to verify those are permitted under both the county's land use code and any applicable HOA covenants before you buy. Thinking about relocating to the Boulder-Denver area? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers, the best hospitals, and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move. The best part is that this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me, 100% free. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps. The silver lining, and it is a big one, is that these regulations are precisely why Boulder County looks the way it does. The open space, the views, the fact that you are never more than a few minutes from a trail or natural landscape. You get to live next door to 100,000 acres of protected open space, and that is genuinely priceless. Factor number 7 is one that I cannot overstate given recent history in Boulder County: wildfire and flood risk. This is real, it is documented, and every buyer must understand it before purchasing here. Let me start with wildfire. Boulder County is ranked among the top 10 most at-risk areas from wildfire in the entire Rocky Mountain region. According to the USDA Forest Service, since 1989, wildfires in Boulder County have claimed 1,346 homes and structures, burned nearly 32,000 acres, and threatened thousands of residents. Those are not abstract statistics. Those are neighbors who lost everything. The most devastating recent event was the Marshall Fire on December 30th, 2021. Under extreme drought and wind conditions, a grassland fire, not a forest fire, ripped through the communities of Superior and Louisville, where I live. In a matter of hours, it destroyed 1,084 homes and 7 businesses. 1 life was lost. This was not a remote mountain fire that threatened cabins in the woods. This was a suburban fire that consumed entire neighborhoods with thousands of residents. The Marshall Fire became the most destructive wildfire in Colorado history at the time. According to climate check analysis, approximately 88% of buildings in the city of Boulder have some level of wildfire risk, and the risk level for many of those properties is rated as high. Climate change is driving hotter, drier conditions that make fires spread faster and burn more intensely. What does this mean practically? When you are buying in Boulder County, particularly in the foothills, the WUI, that's the wildland urban interface, or even suburban areas with adjacent open space, you need to ask about wildfire risk ratings for that specific parcel. Homeowners insurance has become increasingly difficult and expensive to obtain in high-risk areas. Some national carriers have pulled back from Colorado entirely. You may face limited options and significantly higher premiums. Now, let's talk flood. Boulder County is also a documented flood risk area. In September 2013, a multi-day rainfall event caused catastrophic flooding across the county. Thousands of homes were damaged or destroyed. Roads and bridges were completely wiped out, and the reconstruction effort took years. Smaller but still damaging flood events have followed. About 26% or so of buildings in Boulder have meaningful flood risk, particularly along creek corridors. FEMA flood maps get updated as risk assessments change, and some areas that were not previously designated as flood zones now are. Boulder County also experiences some of the strongest winds in the country, according to NOAA. Wind gusts have been measured as high as 147 miles per hour in extreme events. Those Chinook winds that feel so pleasant in January, under drought conditions, they are wildfire accelerants. The bright side, Boulder County has invested heavily in wildfire mitigation, including $18 million in mitigation funding approved across Colorado in 2022. The county has a detailed multi-hazard mitigation plan. Communities like Jamestown have implemented defensible space programs, and insurance, while harder to find, does exist, particularly if you take steps to harden your home and maintain defensible space. This is just a factor you must investigate property by property. Factor number 6 is the housing inventory situation, which is in a word, constrained. And that constraint has direct consequences for what you pay and what you get. As of early 2026, the median home price in the city of Boulder sits somewhere in the range of $819,000 to $940,000, depending on the source and the month. Single-family homes average significantly higher, around $1.5 million in the city proper. Boulder County as a whole, which includes more affordable communities like Longmont and Erie, brings the county-wide median down roughly to $685,000 to $750,000. Condos are available from around $460,000, but HOA fees and insurance costs on condos have been rising sharply. So why is inventory so limited? This goes back to factor number 8, the land use and open space protections. When you permanently protect 40% of your county's land from development, you limit the land available to build new homes. Boulder also has an explicit urban growth boundary. The city is not expanding outward in any meaningful way. New construction is extremely limited and expensive to build. This is a feature of living here. It preserves the character in open space, but it is absolutely a driver of high prices. In March 2026, there were approximately 557 homes available across Boulder's market, up about 36% year over year. That sounds like an improvement, and it is, but with months of supply at just 2.5 months, this is still a seller-leaning market. The market has cooled from the frenzied pandemic era peaks, and homes are now sitting on average of 52 days before selling, up from 38 days last year. Buyers have a bit more negotiating room today than they did in 2021 and 2022, but do not mistake a cooling market for a buyer's market. You are still competing for a limited supply of homes in a place where people genuinely want to live. The silver lining here is that the broader Boulder County, Longmont, Lafayette, Louisville, Erie, and surrounding municipalities offers more affordable entry points. Longmont in particular has seen significant investment and growth, with a housing market that is more accessible than the city of Boulder, while still providing access to everything Boulder County has to offer. If your heart is set on Boulder County, but not necessarily the city of Boulder, you do have real options. Factor number 5 is a big one that buyers often underestimate: the total cost of homeownership beyond just the mortgage payment. In Boulder County, this deserves its own conversation. So let's start with property taxes. Colorado's effective property tax rate is actually among the lower rates in the nation, approximately 0.53% in Boulder County, compared to the national average of 0.92%. On a home valued at $756,000, the median homeowner pays roughly $4,000 per year in taxes. Compare that to places like New Jersey, where taxes on a similar home can easily be 4 to 5 times higher, and Colorado's property tax situation looks reasonable. But there's nuance here. Colorado's property tax system changed significantly starting in 2025. There are now 2 assessment rates, one for school districts at 7%, and one for local government at 6.25%. In 2026, those rates could adjust again to 6.8% for local government after applicable reductions. Because assessment values have climbed dramatically over the past few years, even with a lower rate, many Boulder County homeowners are seeing their actual tax bills rise. On $1 million home, you could be looking at $5,000 to $8,000 or more annually in property taxes, depending on your specific location and tax district. And Boulder County overlapping tax districts means the actual number varies significantly block to block. Now let's talk insurance. And this is where things get serious. Colorado's average car insurance is approximately $241 per month, one of the higher rates in the country. Homeowners insurance has risen sharply due to wildfire risk, with some carriers exiting the Colorado market altogether. If you're buying in a designated wildfire interface area, you may face very limited insurance options and premiums that are substantially higher than what you pay elsewhere. In some cases, buyers are forced onto the Colorado Fair Plan, the state's insurer of last resort, which covers the basics but at higher cost. If you need separate flood insurance, which roughly 26% of Boulder properties may, that adds another annual premium on top of your homeowner policy. Add in HOA fees, which are increasingly common and often run $200 to $600 per month or more on condos and townhomes, and you start to see that true cost of ownership in Boulder County goes well beyond the purchase price and mortgage rate. My advice to every buyer I work with is to run the full monthly cost of ownership, mortgage, taxes, insurance, HOA if applicable, before falling in love with a #1 listing. Now, let's count down the top 5. Factor number 4 is transportation, how you get around Boulder County and the surrounding region. And this is a mixed bag in the most interesting way. Let's start with the good news. Boulder has one of the most robust alternative transportation ecosystems of any mid-sized city in America. The US 36 Bikeway carries over 150,000 cyclists per year, and it connects Boulder to the Denver Metro via a dedicated multi-use path alongside the highway. Boulder's bike network is extensive, flat in much of the city, and genuinely used by a large percentage of residents daily. In 2024, about 9.5% of Boulder residents walk to work, and 34% actually work from home, meaning a huge chunk of Boulder's population doesn't commute by car at all. RTD, the Regional Transportation District, operates the Flatiron Flyer bus rapid transit service along 36, connecting Boulder to downtown Denver and multiple suburban transit centers. I've used it often to go to a downtown at the Nuggets game, Avalanche, Rockies. I can hop on the Flyer, 30 minutes nonstop, even in high traffic hours. It's awesome. It runs frequently during commute hours and is genuinely functional and an option for those working in Denver. There are also local bus networks, and Boulder's downtown and university neighborhoods, along with downtown Louisville and Lafayette, are extremely walkable. Now, for the challenge. If you are driving US 36, the Denver-Boulder Turnpike, it's your lifeline. The drive from downtown Boulder to downtown Denver is about 30 miles and takes 30 to 40 minutes with no traffic. During rush hour, morning peak roughly around 7 to 9 a.m. and afternoon peak from 4 to 6:30 p.m., that same drive and stretch can be an hour or more. And here's the counterintuitive wrinkle. Traffic into Boulder from Denver is worse in the morning, and traffic going from Boulder to Denver is worse in the afternoon. If you're commuting against the typical pattern, you're actually gonna do okay. US 36 does have express toll lanes, which provide a meaningful time savings for a fee, of course. Within Boulder itself, getting around can be surprisingly congested. 28th Street through the heart of the city is a perpetual bottleneck, and parking near the University of Colorado campus and Pearl Street is competitive on busy days. If you're living in other parts of Boulder County, say Longmont or Nederland, your transportation picture looks quite different. Longmont has good highway access via I-25 and Highway 119, but it is a car dependent in a way that Central Boulder is not. Nederland, up in the mountains, is absolutely gorgeous, but the winding canyon roads require real caution in winter, and you're looking at 30 to 45-minute drive just to reach downtown Boulder. Here's my bottom line on transportation. If you work remotely or work in Boulder itself, this is a fantastic place to live without a car for much of your daily life. If you're commuting daily to Denver, build that US 36 commute into your quality of life calculation, and seriously consider whether the express lanes or the Flatiron Flyer fit your schedule. It makes a real difference. Okay, factor number 3 is what I call the growth constraint. And this is interconnected with housing inventory, with land use, and with long-term outlook for real estate values in Boulder County. It deserves its own factor because it shapes everything. Boulder County and the city of Boulder have made a deliberate and decades-long commitment to constraining growth. This is not an accident. The city of Boulder established an urban growth boundary in 1977. Since then, it has enforced a population cap through a slow growth policy. The county has acquired and permanently protected over 100,000 acres of open space. The city has voted multiple times to maintain and expand these protections. The consequences of this philosophy is profound and has two sides. On the positive side, the scenery, the open space, the trails, the preserved mountain backdrop, these are the result of that intentional constraint. If you have ever stood on the Pearl Street Mall and looked up at the Flatirons rising behind the city, you understand immediately why people have fought for generations to protect that view and that landscape. But the economic consequence is equally clear. Constrained supply plus strong demand equals high prices, period. Boulder County is not going to build its way to affordability. The political will and the legal framework both prevent that. What this means for buyers is that real estate here has historically held value remarkably well. Downturns happen, and we are in a softer market in 2026 compared to the pandemic peak. But long-term appreciation in Boulder County has been among the strongest of any county in Colorado. The open space that constrains supply is also the asset that sustains value. For buyers, this means when you are looking at a home in Boulder County, you're not just buying 4 walls and a roof. You are buying into a community that has made deliberate choices about what it wants to be. If that vision aligns with yours, if you value open space, trails, preserved landscapes, and a city that has said we're not building outward forever, then those constraints become assets. If you're hoping for rapid new construction, suburban sprawl, or the ability to buy cheap land and build a large custom home easily, Boulder County is probably not your best fit. You will need to look at Erie, Broomfield, or communities further along the Front Range, which I certainly could help you with. All right, factor number 2 is taxes. Now, before you click away thinking Colorado is just going to destroy you on taxes, hang on for a minute. The picture here is actually more nuanced than in most expensive markets, and for many buyers, it is a relative advantage. But you still need to understand the full picture. Colorado's state income tax is a flat 4.4%. That's it. One rate applied to everyone. For comparison, California's top rate is 13.3%. New Jersey, 10.75%. High-earning Californians and New Yorkers who have relocated to Boulder County, and I've relocated a lot of them, consistently tell me that Colorado's income tax environment was a major factor in their decision. The Tabor Amendment, Colorado's Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, has driven that rate down from 4.63% over time by requiring the state to refund surplus tax revenues. Colorado is genuinely taxpayer friendly at the state level. Sales tax in Boulder County rose up to 9.045% in the city of Boulder when you stack state, county, and city taxes. That's toward the higher end nationally, and it's something to budget and think about on everyday purchases. Boulder County's rate increased from 1.185% to 1.335% as of January 1st, 2026, reflecting the county's growing budget needs. Property taxes in Colorado are, as I mentioned in factor number 5, relatively low by national comparison. Boulder County's effective rate of 0.53% is 42% lower than the national average of 0.92%. So, on a $750,000 home, you're looking at roughly $4,000 per year. On a $1 million home, somewhere in the $5,000 to $8,000 range, depending on your district. That's real money, but it is a fraction of what you pay in states like New Jersey, Illinois, or New York for the same value home. The caveat, property taxes are rising for 2026. Colorado's pandemic era tax discounts on primary residences are being phased out, and assessment rates, they're increasing. Many Boulder County homeowners will see their 2026 tax bills payable in 2027 noticeably higher than 2 years ago, even if their home value hasn't changed. This is something your title company and real estate agent should walk you through on any specific property. For retirees, Colorado does offer some property tax exemption for seniors, and retirement income, including Social Security, is partially exempt from Colorado income tax. Many retirees from high tax states find Colorado's total tax burden to be actually favorable. My net summary on taxes: Colorado is not a no state tax, but it is a significant lower tax state than most high cost of living destinations. If you're coming from California, New York, New Jersey, or Illinois, your overall state and local tax burden will almost certainly go down when you move to Boulder County. That's a meaningful advantage. Drum roll, please. Factor number 1, cost of living, the full picture. And there it is, our number 1 factor that every person considering a move to Boulder County must honestly reckon with: the overall cost of living. This is the overarching reality that ties together everything else we've discussed today. Let me give you the data. The median home price in Boulder County ranges from approximately $685,000 countywide to nearly $1 million in the city of Boulder, with single-family homes in the city average over $1,500,000. The average monthly rent for a one-bedroom apartment in central Boulder is approximately $2,100, and that's after some cooling from pandemic peaks. A standard 85 square meter apartment costs $180 to $220 per month in utilities. Monthly groceries for one person run $450 to $600, which is well above the national average. Car insurance in Colorado averages around $241 per month. A meal out for two at a mid-range restaurant runs $80 to $100. Put it all together, and Boulder County is consistently ranked as one of the most expensive places to live in the entire United States. Not just in the Mountain West, in the country. In 2025, 18.6% of the population in Boulder County was living with severe housing problems. That's not a fringe statistic. It reflects genuine housing cost stress across income levels. Now, here's the critical context. Who is the cost of living a deal breaker for, and who can absorb it? If you're coming from San Francisco, LA, Seattle, New York City, or Boston, Boulder County may actually feel like a relative bargain, or at minimum, comparable. The median home price in San Francisco Metro is roughly double what you'll pay in Boulder County. If you're coming from Denver proper, you're likely looking at a meaningful step up in cost. If you're coming from the Midwest, the Southeast, or most other parts of the country, Boulder County would be a significant cost of living increase across almost every category. But here's what you're getting for that cost. And this is important. I don't want to just sell you the hard facts without giving the full picture of what Boulder County offers in return. You get 300 days of sunshine per year in one of the most physically stunning environments in America. You get immediate access to Rocky Mountain National Park, world-class ski resorts. Eldora is 30 minutes away. Breckenridge and Vail are 2 hours away. Steamboat is 4 hours away. Hiking trails by the hundreds. Climbing on the Flatirons, kayaking, mountain biking, and cycling on one of the best bike networks in the country. You get a genuine university town culture with world-class restaurants, a thriving art scene, one of the best farmers markets in the nation on Pearl Street, and a community of people who are deeply invested in the quality of life. You get arguably the best school district in Colorado. You get a job market anchored by research institutions, aerospace, biotech, and a growing quantum computing sector. You get one of the healthiest, most active communities in the United States. Boulder consistently ranks as one of the fittest cities in America, and you get the knowledge that the open space around you has been permanently protected. No one is going to build a strip mall in front of your mountain view. The cost of living in Boulder County is real. It is significant, and you have to go in with your financial eyes open. But what you get in return is genuinely extraordinary. Hey guys, it's Lenny Mayoko. As much as I love making these videos, there is one thing I love more, and that's helping families and people from all over the US and the world make the move here to the Boulder-Denver area. I've helped countless families make the move. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here on the screen and linked in the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. I look forward to helping you and your family make the move to the Boulder-Denver area. There's a reason this place is consistently rated as one of the best places to live in America. The price of admission is high, but for many people, what they get on the other side of that transaction is exactly what they have been looking for. So there they are, 11 real factors every buyer must consider before making the move to Boulder County. Let me run through them one more time, from least to most important. Number 11, weather and altitude. Beautiful, sunny, and dramatic, with 300 days of sunshine and some altitude adjustment required. Number 10, the high income cost of entry gap, a bifurcated economy where high earners thrive, but median incomes struggle against premium home prices. Number 9, schools, genuinely outstanding. BVSD is accredited with distinction, and Peak to Peak is a top 15 school statewide. Number 8, land use and zoning restrictions. Boulder County's strict regulations preserve open space, but constrain what you can do with your property. Number 7, wildfire and flood risk. Real and significant. The Marshall Fire was a wake-up call, and insurance is getting harder to find and more expensive. Number 6, limited and expensive housing inventory. Constrained supply meets strong demand, and the open space protections guarantee this won't change. Number 5, homeownership and insurance costs. Beyond the mortgage, property taxes, HOAs, rising insurance premiums, and Colorado's shifting assessments of rates. Number 4, transportation and getting around. Excellent biking and transit options. But the US 36 Denver commute is real. Plan accordingly. Number 3, limited open space for development. The growth constraint that preserves the scenery also sustains property values long term. Number 2, taxes and total tax burden. Relatively favorable versus coastal markets, Colorado's flat 4.4% income tax and low property tax rate are genuine advantages. And number 1, cost of living. The highest bar to entry, but what you get in return is one of the most extraordinary quality of life environments in America. I want to be honest with you. I live here. I chose to build my career here, and I do not plan on going anywhere. Boulder County is one of those rare places where people come and realize this is exactly where I was supposed to be and end up. The mountains, the community, the lifestyle, the opportunity. It is real. But I also believe in informed decisions. Every one of those 11 factors matters. Some of them, if you are not prepared, can turn a dream into a financial strain. My job is to make sure that does not happen to you. If this video has been helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss what's coming next. I have got more Boulder County content on the way. Neighborhood deep dives, market updates, and real buyer stories from people who made the move. And absolutely, use the Google Calendar link in the description to book a call with me directly. Whether you are 6 months out or you've already accepted a job offer in Boulder and you're moving your truck and it's booked, I'm here. We will figure out the right neighborhood, the right budget, and the right approach for your situation. I respond within 24 hours, and I promise you a straight conversation, not a sales pitch. In the meantime, as I always say, stay informed, stay inspired, and I'll see you in Boulder County.